What, ladies and gents, Pitty Swordmaster here, and welcome to another episode of Pitty and Pals Reacts to Death Battle. This time, we'll be looking at Ruby Rose from RWBY versus Maka Albarn from Soul Eater. But before we get into the episode, I want to briefly go into my thoughts on the matchup itself. Alright, this is gonna be a loaded segment, so let's just get this much out of the way right now. I do like RWBY vs Maka quite a bit. While I have my qualms with both, I do enjoy RWBY and Soul Eater, and I do like RWBY, Maka, and Soul quite a bit too. I think the interactions you can have with the three could be really charming and fun, throwing RWBY's silliness into Maka and Soul's already head-butting dynamic. Moreover, I think the fight has a lot of fun elements. This is the first time we've gotten a dedicated scythe fight, and mixing it with the cel-shaded art style of RWBY and the Tim Burton-esque gothic aesthetic of Soul Eater could make for a visual marvel, especially in tandem with the flashiness of both series. Now, while I like this matchup, it does also come with some severe flaws. The most apparent one has to do with the fact that RWBY does not have an advantage. Power? No. Speed? Nuh-uh. Experience? Not on your Nelly. Tactics? Not a chance. Arsenal? Not a hope. Instant win moves? Never in a million years. Even ignoring Fire Force scaling on account of it just being severe overkill, there is no area RWBY categorically has Maka beaten. A matchup being one-sided isn't generally the end of the world. I've already said before I love Shigaraki vs Mahito despite that also being a massive stomp, but this is a case where it bleeds into the actual fight dynamic too. The fact that Maka has so much more to throw at RWBY and a far more blatant escalation of power means that if you want the fight to seem remotely fair, Maka's more than likely gonna get held back quite a bit. Not to an extent that I think it's unworkable, just enough that I have my concerns on how well utilized Maka will end up being. Speaking of, that brings me to my next issue. The actual parallels between the two. In a vacuum, why the matchup as a comparison is obvious, and there's not a lot to really complain about as far as specific comparisons go. The problem mainly comes from how RWBY and Maka's actual stories take very different directions, and the most fundamental aspect of Soul Eater, the relationship between Weapon and Meister, has no real equivalent for RWBY. Now, none of these are enough to completely kill this idea for me. Surprisingly, I can just have fun smashing my favorite action figures together if I enjoy it. But these are still concerns I have with how the episode may come out, and I don't blame anyone for feeling underwhelmed by how little this matchup really does with Maka and Soul. There is an explanation for why the matchup is in this situation, and yet it happened anyways. RWBY vs Maka is an old idea. It was confirmed to be happening back in 2016. That was during the season 3 days. Oh god, I'm old. And if you want to go even further back, it was a request that came straight from the creator of RWBY himself, Monty before his unfortunate passing the year prior. Most people don't give it much thought, but matchups do tend to have a lifespan. Some will always endure, but others tend to fall out of favor as the characters or the versus community evolves. This could be because the characters developed in ways that made the matchup far less workable, standards on what a matchup should focus on changed and left ideas that didn't fit that mold behind, or people just simply moved on from them. It can be unfortunate, especially for people that always stuck by those ideas, but nothing you can really do to stop it. RWBY vs Maka being confirmed for so long, back when RWBY still had over half of its story left to tell, put it in somewhat of a time capsule where people really couldn't just let it go and be forgotten by time. It didn't matter what other ideas started to become popular for the two because it wasn't like they were gonna actually happen over this one. As a result, a lot of the enthusiasm for RWBY vs Maka has sort of dried up by this point. Don't get me wrong, the fans are still there, and they're still vocal, but time has ultimately been more harsh towards this matchup than it has been kind. Hell, it says something that a big reason why they waited this long was so RWBY's powers could be better explored before the episode could be made, and in that time, Maka, a character whose story has been finished for years, got a leagues more tangible buff than RWBY ever will. Now, while I say the enthusiasm for this matchup isn't quite there anymore, that doesn't mean expectations for this matchup are low. People have been waiting close to a decade for this idea and still see it as a massive legacy matchup. And if you remember what I said about Simon vs Kyle and its legacy, you'd know that this is a cause for alarm for me given this community's propensity for being harsh towards any hyped up episode that wasn't exactly what they hoped for. That was thankfully proven wrong by Simon vs Kyle after the episode released and reviewed very favorably, but the difference there was that Simon vs Kyle didn't really have notable flaws to overcome besides living up to the hype. RWBY vs Maka has to live up to its even longer legacy, and has to give us a fight where Maka and Soul don't feel like they're having to hold back so RWBY doesn't get pasted in 5 seconds, and has to get around the issue of it not effectively focusing on the biggest aspect of Soul Eater's story, and has to work around Death Battle fans being sexist. There's a lot of hurdles that this episode is going to have to clear, especially considering the fact that this is RWBY we're talking about, a series that's always had a volatile history with Death Battle and for whom the haters are loud. Not to mention the crowd that continues to use Monty as an excuse to give the showrunners shit by saying they're disrespecting his vision to the face of people that actually worked with the guy. I don't want it to sound like I'm doom posting or being cynical towards this episode, but while this may fall on deaf ears, I am still pleading To whomever will hear me, that people please be goddamn normal if this episode doesn't come out a masterpiece. Don't use it as an excuse to shit-talk Ruby or Death Battle, and certainly don't continue to use a dead man's name as a weapon for spreading hate. I say this as someone that dropped Ruby because I wasn't a fan of the direction it was taking at the time. You can be critical of the show, or the Death Battle episodes using it, without acting like a spoiled brat over it. If I'm proven wrong once more and the Versus community can be civil about this episode, then I'll be over the moon. But like with the issues with the matchup I already mentioned, these are concerns I have, and the only thing that can shake them is seeing firsthand if they come to fruition or not. At the end of the day, I will look forward to what this episode has to bring in the end, and keep my fingers crossed that it'll be an enjoyable watch. So all only thing left to do is see how things play out from here. For this video, I got some of my friends to sit down and watch the episode with me. Will Ruby leave her foe red like roses, or will Maka resonate as the sole victor? Let's find out!
Chat, play the trailer. Play the trailer so we have something to do.
How will this affect Ruby versus...
Dude, you keep ripping off Loka. You keep ripping off Loka.
I'm not ripping them off. I'm continuing their legacy.
What legacy?
the legacy.
Play the trailer. I need stimulation. I need my Subway Surfers. Genocide route.
But yeah, I just imagine like, oh, next time it's gonna be Cole versus Ali. Oh, it'll be Galactus versus Unicron. Simo versus Ruby versus. Well, now what?
Now what?
Ruby versus Maka 2, baby.
The sequel.
Maybe Freddy Krueger versus Pennywise. Like we were talking earlier about, oh, what would the next episode be? Because there's a lot of speculation. There's like Skeletor versus Zed and shit like that. But next month is like October. It's like the spooky month, so it would make sense to do like a try and do a horror themed episode. It'd be really funny if it was Springtrap, though. It'd be really funny.
You know what else is spooky? Witches.
True.
Just like in the Owl House, just like Luz versus Ann, baby, that'll be next!
Always bet on Luz versus Ann! Always bet on Luz versus Ann! 99% of gamblers give up before the next time is Luz versus Ann.
Before they hit big. We are all turning into Rhodia Limbus Company.
I don't agree.
I wish Mannington was here. He could gas me up.
Mannington would not be here. He hasn't. I don't think Mannington has ever consumed anything Ruby.
Pitt, when Luz Ann finally comes around, make your art for it like just them both wasting all of their life savings on the death battle next time.
They gotta be gambling. They gotta be gambling.
It's funny you say that because I can't remember all of like the episodes for both like at the top of my head. I had this really good feeling that there has been like some kind of episode in both shows where like, Luz and Ann like bet a lot of like money or whatever the fuck.
Can that one gif of like Red Angry Bird throwing the dice? Can someone edit that? But it's Titan Luz and Super Saiyan Blue and
You know for a fact that Ada is 100% betting a ton of snails on it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just Ida betting like all of her fucking snails.
I've come to report a fraudulent charge on my card.
It's like after Bardock versus Omni-Man, like the Goku Twitter account, Gohan, Goten, my son, I have terrible news.
Goten, my son, I have terrible news. Hi, Maka.
Holy shit! Oh, it's Ruby.
I saw
Ruby Rose versus Maka Albarn.
She's bogging.
What about Soul Eater?
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick. And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Not the tumbleweed.
To Ruby Rose, daughter to the world-renowned huntress, Summer.
Reality over fiction.
I love that they
Her dedication paid off.
that.
Admitted into Beacon Academy.
Like Penny, I see you.
Despite it being like bigger than she is. How does she do it with those noodle arms? The girl
Wait,
can't
she's
even
built
do it.
different.
I'm
Well,
taller
she
than
might
her.
not need to, given the strength
That's
of her
actually
form.
crazy.
Impossible.
All
That's
living
fuck-
beings
that's
in
not
Remnant have an
possible.
aura,
Yeah.
except dark creatures like
I'm
Grimm.
finally
Though not
taller
all
than
of them
someone.
can utilize it in
And
combat
it's a Ruby
without
Rose.
extensive training. See, aura
It's
forms
literally
a
just the
barrier
odd
that
ones out
blocks fatal
padding.
blows and
That
even
meme.
heals wounds. It can make weapons, fire, electricity, ice, wind,
the
anti-gravity.
avatar
Does that
power
last one count?
system.
Metal Burst.
Cool, Wiz. She's got
Molecular
the eyes of a hawk,
intangibility.
and when she
Ignore the
shoots
time
you with
Mercury
dust,
Black
a
kicked the
bullet
shit out
was
of
the
her.
last thing you'll be worried
He just
about.
kicked the
With enough of a
molecules.
boost, ice dust can freeze over whole mechs, and she
Aura
can power
restorative
up her kicks
items.
to crater
Oh.
military-grade steel. A person's aura may be limited.
3.6
Ruby
kilotons,
can keep
let's
track of hers
go.
with this handy
Why
health
is
bar
the
on her
kiloton
not
feet in
smartphone.
the
Ruby
black box?
blasted
That's
through Hunter's
suspicious.
classes with flying colors. Almost right away, she was appointed the leader
That
of
was
her
like the
own
old
group,
feat from,
with
like,
White
Gang
Steve,
Versus
Lake
Team
Belladonna,
Versus, right?
and Big Sis
Yeah,
Gang
White
Sheldon.
Steve through it.
Gang Sheep?
Oh,
Wait, no, that was a
I get it.
Weiss feat.
Team
Yeah.
Ruby.
Oh, okay.
But Ruby's
Yeah,
hope
Weiss
for
feats
many
her.
years of learning with her friends would
Eyes
be
wide.
dashed as evil
Eyes wide.
machinations spread like wildfire.
Hi, Cinder.
Hi, Cinder.
And with a flash of silver light, Beacon had fallen. Ruby's friends dead. Her school
Bye, Kara.
totally wrecked.
Bye, Kara.
Her
Bye, Kara.
sister
She's so
disbarred.
fucked.
Because he's
All
fucking
because of a
dead.
lover's spat that went way
The
too
only
far.
time Adam
Salem
had aura.
saw the world divided. And
Okay,
it was
Trailer
time
Wreck.
to
Really?
say goodbye
Really? All
to
Ruby
many
characters have
happily
aura.
ever after. But Ruby
Oh my
wouldn't
God.
give up
That
like
was the
that.
worst
so
You
she
were
set
walking
out
into
to
that
change
one.
the world. Even
You
as
can't
Crescent Rose
into
began
that.
to
That
feel
sucks.
heavier
Guys, new
and
content.
heavier. The semblance is an expression
I
of
really
their
like the
personality.
Finally.
editing here.
Basically, it's a
That's
superpower
pretty good.
farmed
Yeah,
by
the
aura,
editing,
and Ruby's
like,
got
in
super
the-
speed. Or a teleport?
The editing in like
What
the
is she doing
entirety
exactly?
of the
Close.
Kickstarter era
This
always
is
been
Petal Burst,
good.
a mixture of speed, teleportation, and intangibility. Ruby can rocket from one point to another in milliseconds by literally bursting into petals.
Coolest fucking
Sort of,
ability
according
ever,
to
by the
Best
way.
Robo
Like,
Go
Yeah.
Penny,
Really cool.
Ruby's semblance is extremely complex
Hi,
and variable.
Petty.
It involves breaking
Penny.
the body down to its molecular components before zooming off in complex
This is
paths,
before she
negating the laws
understood
of
the
mass
ability.
entirely.
Trans.
AKA super
Like,
speed
I
plus.
don't wanna hear
Nora
any
is Piss Girl.
arguments with-
Ruby's petal burst is so
True.
quick
Hi, Nora.
she
Hi,
can be
Nora.
outside
Hi,
of
Nora.
herself
Hi,
completely.
Nora. Hi, Nora.
Good luck
Talk
tagging her
through,
with a
uh,
bullet
talk
or a breadstick. She is certainly quick enough to give Emerald and Mercury a hard time, and they've dodged actual lightning. She's
there
faster
it
than
is.
Blake, who could keep up with the most cringe faunus of all. Adam Charles. Well, he did draw his sword fast enough to parry an actual particle beam. In real life, such a beam is created by accelerating charged particles to
Even they
just
don't
under
like
light speed.
so big.
I don't think anybody
So
likes this guy
President,
too.
with
Okay,
such
he had
a
aura here.
powerful
Come on.
ability as a weapon against negative anti-life energy, like the evil goop Grim spawned from.
Anti-life?
Just
Dark
a
side.
wink and blam! Sayonara, Dragon of Darkness. But Ruby's skills didn't falter after her time at Beacon. As she
Ruby
journeyed
still
across
rise
Remnant,
restored
she
her
leveled up to
willpower.
compete
Oh,
with
that's
the
right.
powerful magic and
Rock
badass
the
foes.
blood edge!
Her team could even manage the
Super
Ace
bad.
Ops,
Last
an elite
name
squad
bad.
of longtime
First name
professionals,
Super.
including Harriet. Though it's important to remember, Ruby is only 17 years old. The weight of being a leader, a savior, and a huntress like her mother would get heavier and heavier and heavier. She got over it. Look at her go! Taking Crescent Rose firmly in hand and sending a message of unity to the
I don't like
rest
this.
of the world. Ruby
no, I
had
don't.
finally left the fairy tale
I
I
behind,
actually am
taking
so
one
fucking
more step
upset.
toward the day
That
we've waited
I
for.
don't like that.
Actually,
I've only got one set.
Today's battle is sponsored by Souls within a sound mind.
With a sound mind and a sound
But all
body.
the unjust evil souls of this world are on the Disney fast pass to becoming a Kishin. Destructive gods mutated
Yo.
from good-natured souls. A Kishin could
You should
plunge
totally
the world
watch
into
this anime,
chaos
by the
and
way.
madness.
I
If
know,
only
maybe
someone
somewhere.
could stop them. Bing bong, it's the DWMA.
Bing bong.
Welcome to Death
Bong.
Weapon Meister Academy, where death rules. Literally, his name is Death. Here, Lord Death tasks humans to become spiritually
Hi,
talented
Killick.
meisters
Hi,
of
Killick.
demon weapons.
Hi, Spirit, I
AKA
fucking
people
hate
who
you.
are also a weapon.
Hi, Tsubaki. Hi,
Tsubaki.
Tsubaki.
Transform into weapons.
Hi, kid.
Hi, the kid. Hi, the kid. Hi, the kid. I go.
Hi, Stein.
Meister
Hi,
weapon
Stein.
kills and consumes.
So the Halloween background,
You
though?
forgot to give us homework.
Oh,
I like
that's
it,
cool.
that's
If
cute.
souls
That's
any
I
better,
didn't
a
mention
it. I
weapon
didn't
who's
mention
too
it in
concerned with
Ruby, so
being
I like the
cool
background
to
there. I
do
like
any
that they
real
keep
work.
up with this
Hey,
one too.
Soul's not just
Also,
any demon
I
weapon.
never really
he's
thought
a
about it,
sight.
but
And he's
Maka
got
being
his
that much
sights
younger
on
than
upgrading
Ruby
to the
feels
highest
wrong.
level of death
Yeah,
sight,
it's
which
weird.
would be
Yeah.
a high honor.
Hi, Justin.
Lucky for Soul, Maka always aims high.
I think it's because like the Soul Eater manga just doesn't use time skips that often.
Yeah, it only
Yeah.
did like
Needed was
one
99
time skip, and it was only for,
Kishin
like,
eggs
6
and the
months.
soul of a witch. Easy,
that again?
right?
Maybe, since
How long
Maka
is it?
is extraordinarily perceptive at spotting and examining souls. She can detect spiritual
I'm sorry,
presences
I
from
love this
millions of
editing.
yards
It's
away.
so
Yeah.
It can
cute.
discern its
I still
nature,
love that
stability,
moment,
and
by the way,
emotion.
where she just
Time
scanned the
for
entire
class.
fucking
The
planet
two
for
Crona.
Crona.
Their styles kind of weird. Okay, so Maka guides Soul in the direction.
What do you
she
mean we
wants to
don't
go,
know
but
Soul's
Soul
age?
decides
That's
does all the
weird.
actual
That's
movements
weird, right?
himself. Maka's the Meister.
Soul is
Soul's the
objectively the
weapon.
same
Like
age as her.
conductor and
Like,
I think it's weird that it's like approximately
a Meister
13
weapon
to 15.
pair
What, do we
cannot
not
work
know?
in harmony without total cooperation.
There were plenty of rivals showing
Hi,
her
Alex.
up, like Blackstar and Tsubaki.
Really puts a
Black
damper
Star,
on
my
the
goat.
straight A's when this
Hi,
show-off is
Black
doing
Star.
better than you.
It was up to Maka and Soul to improve their teamwork through Soul Resonance.
What I said about wavelength wasn't metaphorical. Rather, wavelengths are the means with which Meister and weapon draw strength through each other. Think of two
Let's go,
wavelengths
Soul
as
Resonance.
different emotional amplitudes
Let's
that
go,
must
Soul
merge into
Resonance.
one alignment.
If the
I
Meister's
really
the
like the
guitar and the
Soul
weapon's
power
the
system.
amp,
Oh, I like
then they
this
create a
little bit in
feedback
Soul
loop
Eater,
to
it's really
increase
cute.
its
Yeah.
frequency.
I like the
That's Soul
Soul
Resonance.
power system.
Soul
a
Resonance
lot. It's
creates a
very
telepathic
unique.
link and
Yeah.
Wavelengths
surges
are
their strength
interesting.
and
Pretty
speed.
fun.
And preps them for cool sight
That-
moves
wow,
like the
it's
Witch
almost
Hunt
as if
Slash,
Okubo's
a
good
big
at writing
energy strike
power
that puts the
systems.
L in evil.
As the name
Never
implies,
would've
it
guessed.
works especially well against witches.
Maka Chop!
Other
Maka
witches,
Chop!
it's not exclusive
Yeah.
or anything.
He has to
It's
hit Ruby with the
actually
Maka
really
Chop. Come
deadly
on,
against
please.
evil
Come on,
because of
come on,
Maka's
please.
rare
I need a-
demon
No, she has
weight
that
links.
soul with it.
Basically,
She has that
being
soul
a
with
goody
it.
little
Yeah.
two-shoes.
Encounter with
Crona!
Crona,
Whoa!
which nearly killed
The
Soul.
goat.
Now Soul had an ogre pal in his head, waiting for him to swing on
It's
over
the
and play the
ogre!
piano. Yep,
The
Soul
ogre.
got infected with black blood.
Black blood was specially brewed as a weaponizable blood. It hardens and strengthens its user's body inside and out.
Oh,
increasing their
this is
physical
really
ability.
cool.
They can even
This is
block
great.
blades with their bare skin.
That guy outran his own
Honey
shadow.
Fude, Honey
Perhaps the
Fude.
most obvious evidence ever
Honey
of faster
Fude.
than light speed.
Shadow.
And
Let's
Maka couldn't
go!
finally keep up with him.
Pair that with her fight with the demon tool Gopher, who could obliterate whole
Fight
mountains,
Gopher?
and you've got one hell of an ass kicker.
And yet, Maka's relationship with Soul
I can't
still
believe Gopher
faltered.
got the funny
Soul
talc.
was
I'm
the
so
real
excited.
star
Hang on,
here.
hang on.
Even other Meisters were trying to take him as a weapon, away from Maka.
I mean, he literally
Oh,
moves
I am in
himself,
love with this
so
analysis.
Maka couldn't help but wonder if she was holding him back all along.
But Soul said the truth. In all of their missions, their teamwork was the key to their victory. An orchestral performance is only as good as the one conducting. And so, their wavelengths played in harmony, and
This
Maka
is
donned the
fucking
dress
great.
of black blood.
It's an armor literally made of blood, and it lets Maka fly around and
This
shoot out her
looks so
soul as an epic sound
Oh my
wave.
god, this
So
is
freaking
fantastic.
metal.
At the same time, Soul discovered he could hack souls and directly transmit
Soul
Maka's
Adagio.
anti-demon
It's Soul
wavelengths,
Adagio.
basically shutting
Soul
their enemy
hackers,
completely down through Soul
Say that again.
Adagio. It has the same mass as the planet itself.
Yeah, the
The
Fire
world's
Force!
sanity
Let's go!
Rona might have gone
Let's
insane,
go!
but Maka still reached out to their new friend
Good-
Soul
goodbye, Ruby.
until the
Goodbye,
Kishin
Ruby.
showed up to
Goodbye,
ruin
Ruby.
everything. Come on, Asura, they're having a moment here. Timing, bro.
In what would be Maka's
I've
final
never been so
example,
happy.
Soul
Oh
my
faced
God.
off against
Oh,
the
Aww.
And she
I don't
brings
agree.
A plus. Maka pulled her
They're
weight
saying
and
they won't
perfected her
kill
teamwork
the
with
Fire
Soul.
Force Beast.
Their
That's fine.
wavelengths
Let's
were
go.
pitch perfect.
So
Asura
lame.
did everything
I don't
he could
agree
to
with it being
separate them.
contextual though, but
Crater
like,
them
not
into the
scaling
moon,
is reasonable.
punch holes in Maka's chest, tamper their souls with madness, and each time they
I think it sucks because everyone's gonna be like, well, Death Battle said it's not valid, so
Until
no
they
one's gonna
kicked
accept
his
Fire
ass
Force
with
Beast.
one final upgrade.
Yeah, of course.
The Kishin Hunt Slash. Maka Chop.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
call absolute
Yeah.
cinema.
because a sound soul dwells within a sound mind and body. So should you feel overwhelmed by evil's roars, just write 42 42 564 whenever you want to knock on death.
Let's go!
Oh my god, that was
Dude,
amazing.
this analysis was incredible. Oh my god.
Congratulations.
That was awesome!
Fantastic.
Wiz.
I'm not ready.
Okay, okay.
Okay, it's official.
Oh.
This is so
Shut the
not
fuck up.
cool.
Oh, come on, Soul. Our target should be here, so try helping out. Hi!
That kind of looks like Jeb's sketches.
Yeah.
Little Red Riding Hood, your humanity has strayed from its just path, and the Shinigami has called for you. Your boyfriend turns into a scythe. Oh, that's so cool! Your soul is ours!
I love how
like
Ruby
my
Rose is getting
face.
jumped and does not give a fuck. Yeah. This is sick.
Oh my god, this
Slow
looks
for
so
my
good.
Meister.
You haven't seen anything yet.
Cinematography is insane.
Focus.
Oh my god.
Let's go, Soul Resonance!
Let's go, Soul Resonance! Let's enter!
Ruby, get the fuck out of here. He's detected.
Oh my god.
Dear ass!
It's beer, fuck! Beat the shit out of her!
No! Okay.
Get back here!
Ruby's not good at hand-to-hand.
Holy shit!
Oh, this is fucking incredible!
Soul, hurry!
Oh, gravity! Gravity!
Oh,
Oh shit!
Dress.
Interesting. Her soul forms a barrier. Try helping out.
Relax.
Oh my god, oh my god, that fucking, oh my god, I love that so much.
That's so perfect.
This is one of the greatest episodes of all time.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Sorry, but I'll never stop fighting. I'm Ruby Rose, and I am a huntress!
Soul Hadashio.
Ruby!
Oh my god.
The wavelengths. Damn it, she's...
Clutch this goat!
Oh my god.
Dragged to hell.
Sissy!
A simple, honest soul. Ruby Rose, huh?
That's fucking awesome!
Hell the fuck yes,
Hey,
dude. Oh
it's
my
not
god.
often you get to see sight-on-sight action like that.
Let's break this
Oh
down
my
into 4
God.
categories that best represent this match.
Okay.
First,
Oh, that was sick!
Supercharged
Stop
Ruby's
playing
strength
Okay.
is way higher than you'd think.
Track,
Like
oh
kicking
my
this
God.
ground through steel. But Maka's soul resonance
Oh
could
my
match
god,
Joker,
oh my,
who
I'm that
destroyed
dude.
mountains.
That
Now,
I'm very
Pitty
curious to
did
see how
defeat
this is gonna
Taylor
look.
whose
Me
aura contained a
specifically.
bomb that could have wiped out a city.
Adding up their flight speed and
Oh
how far
my
Harriet
God.
said they'd have to fly to avoid the blast. That's
Oh my
a
god, oh my god.
366
Oh my god.
kiloton
They're
bomb.
not
Oh,
gonna
there
make
it
her
is. I was
stronger,
wondering
are
what
they?
it is.
Aura possesses
Yeah,
a
yeah.
similar level of,
6
say,
years
energy
in the
strength. Though
fucking
her semblance
making,
obviously
bro.
can't
Dude,
replicate
oh
Hey,
my
Black
god.
Blood Maka got blasted by Asura into the
Inverse
moon.
Vaccine-
Yeah, it's small, but it's
Fire
not
Force,
the same
yeah.
as Earth's, right?
Putting
Yeah,
Asura
well,
strikes
okay.
at 2 quadrillion tons of TNT. Over 5 billion times higher than
Jesus
Maka
Christ!
takes strength, but
Jesus.
speed wasn't as clear cut. Ruby's a fast little gal.
This
Maka
is a
kept
tie,
up
right?
with
This
Black
is
Star,
gonna be a tie.
faster
I
than
think they're probably
shadows
gonna
and
tie.
whatnot.
I think you're probably
As
gonna
they improved
equate
their
it.
skills, Ruby and her
Yeah, 'cause,
friends
like,
could
Adam,
outspeed
my
Adam.
glorious
Blocked
son,
the
Adam.
particle beam. Though given the
There it
distance
is.
and time
He's
to
not
react,
glorious.
Adam moved about
He was
42%
glorious when he did the
speed
feat,
of
so it's
light.
okay.
Not quite faster
Oh.
than your own Shadow
Oh,
Terror.
okay.
okay.
Ruby's
Oh, never
pedal
mind.
burst has become far faster than this over time, and clearly
Yeah, I
gives
think they're
more
gonna put
than
this as
12
deep.
degrees
Yeah,
on
okay,
top
yeah,
of
they'll
that
tie it,
42%, making her well past light speed.
It's also
Definitely enough
important
to
because,
take on
like,
Harriet,
Oh,
who
Black
was
Star's
about
obviously
finally
faster than Maka.
angry speed.
Honestly,
Not
you
to
love
say
to
Maka
hear it.
couldn't
You
keep
love
up
to
thanks
hear
to
it.
Soul Resonance, but Pedal Burst makes this comparison close enough to call it a tie. And
Yeah.
their speed would be key
Fair
to
enough.
winning
Ruby
in
bots, you
skill.
like to hear
Come
it.
on, Wiz. Call it what it really is.
I thought people
It's
were okay with
Scythery.
FPL, Ruby.
That's not a word.
Scythery was pretty good, but
I like
Soul
that.
does all the movement for her. As a Meister, she was mostly a guide.
It's easy to assume that Ruby's Scythery was superior. She's entirely self-sufficient at dancing with her weapon.
Soul's own control is still
Yeah,
a
but Soul
factor
cares
here,
because
but
it's my
it doesn't
goat.
change that Ruby's been swinging that thing for way longer than Maka. Ruby's got Scythery in the bag.
Oh, damn,
Perhaps
goddamn.
this edge
Oh,
would be
okay.
enough for Ruby to avoid Maka's far greater strength. if she had the better powers.
So, Aura's really cool. Barriers, healing, superpowers,
Nice
so
argument.
on.
Unfortunately,
But it's
Soul
got
got you.
one big weakness.
It is a finite resource.
Me
that
when
is
my
required
ability
for
negates your
all
entire
of
power
Ruby's
set. Fuck you.
powers.
Petal Burst, activating dust, even powering up Crescent Rose takes juice and some aura. Once it's gone, Ruby's totally vulnerable.
And there's a second key factor regarding aura. It is specifically a manifestation of Ruby's soul.
And
Dodgy.
Maka's powers are all about
Yeah.
taking on souls. Maka had lots of ways to break through Ruby's aura,
Like Maka puts
Soul
both hands
Adagio.
on like
And
Ruby's
since
face.
Maka is
Look into
exceptionally
my
gifted at
eyes.
examining
You're
souls,
so
we can
good.
finally
You are
figure
so
out how aura
perverted.
works.
But plot twist, what about Ruby's silver eyes? Her anti-Grim eye beams.
What about them?
Turns out they were actually her best secret weapon.
The negative power of
I
Grim
mean,
is
yeah, it
quite
does
similar to
negate that.
madness wavelengths, which
I don't even
power
agree. I don't
black
think
blood.
madness counts.
Since anti-demon wavelengths can cancel out black blood, the silver eyes should achieve a
That's a good
similar
argument, though.
effect.
But Maka and Soul's whole story is about reaching that perfect soul resonance. Asura tried every way in the book and more to separate their wavelengths and failed.
Dude,
And we
Asura
already
was
talked about
fucking
how much
seething
stronger
about
he is
it,
than
too.
Ruby.
So-
Yeah.
Ruby
Teamwork
takes
makes the
powers,
dream
when
work,
she
baby.
rose to the occasion, Ruby didn't stand
Maka
a semblance of a
wins.
chance and bit
Maka-
the
Maka-
dust.
That is so
Maka
nice.
Albarn.
Okay, what next?
Soul Evans.
What could possibly be the
Even
next time?
Soul
He said Maka
Evans?
and Soul.
Next time on
Let's go.
Battle.
What could possibly be the next time?
It's... Hello. Blade?
Blade!
Oh shit!
Is that...
Subscribe
that's
and
why-
as a member to see more.
What?
Thanks
Oh
for
my
watching.
god!
Let's go!
Oh,
Oh,
There it is.
dude.
Thanks, Monty.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Thank you,
nice.
Monty.
Thank you, Monty.
Thank you, Monty.
Thank you, Monty.
Dude.
Thanks, Monty.
what an episode, man.
Okay, I
Uh,
can mention a few problems though, if you will let me, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like Pitch should start recording before that because we're
Yeah.
gonna like
I
record the
have it
review.
recording now.
Right? Oh, right.
Oh, okay. Okay. If I'm going to start off with a few problems that I did mention that I did notice in the fight, for some reason, Maka's black dress model I think is bigger than Ruby's like actual model, and that kind of like bothered me a little bit. Like, I don't know if anyone else noticed that.
I'd noticed that the model looked a bit off, at least compared to like base Maka's model. It's hard to describe really why, but maybe that might have been a...
Yeah, that another thing is I feel like Ruby's last line and her like death scream delivery is like a bit weak. Like everything else that Lindsay like delivered in the fight was pretty great though, so I'm not going to complain, like drag down her performance just because of that.
I thought it was like okay, like her lines. It felt a little low energy at times, but like most of it was pretty good. The I'm a Huntress I thought was I don't know. I felt like the delivery was like weak. I don't know how to explain.
Yeah. That's what. Otherwise, yeah, I that's about it, honestly.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like she cuts Ruby in half, but it's still a non-violent death. That's great. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the final shot, Ruby bursting into petals, and it goes past like the border on the side.
Yeah.
I think
It just
I
looks
think
really good.
Death and Soul Eater is such an interesting thing to me because, like, by all accounts, technically she's not dead yet. Like her soul isn't devoured, so she's technically still fine.
Yeah, and also, I feel like that's also a callback to like when Pyrrha gets killed, and she like vanishes into particles.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
kind of,
right,
it's kind of
yeah.
similar, and I think that's really cool. That's like a nice touch.
Hmm.
Like keeps it in line with what we see from Ruby.
I guess just to go over like our own individual thoughts for each episode, I want to just quickly go over mine. So yeah, just starting with the fight. Holy shit! It is genuinely incredible, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I think they very seamlessly blend in like the hand-drawn elements and the 3D. The cel-shaded look is gorgeous, and both the cinematography and the actual like fight choreography is absolutely incredible. one of my main concerns going into this episode was that Maka is like so much. Her arsenal is a lot deeper than Ruby's, and I was curious, like, okay, how are they going to balance this? Now, bear in mind, my experience with Ruby goes up to volume 6, so I don't know if she locks the fuck in all the volumes past or not. I did find that their solution basically was just pushing Ruby's arsenal further than, at least from my experience, what they do in the show, which, I mean, hey, at least it made Maka still look like she was putting it her. Bleh. At least it made Maka still look like she was putting her all into it, so I can't complain too much. And also, Maka's analysis is like genuinely probably top 3 of the season for me so far. Like, I can't really think of any area that I feel it left me lacking in besides maybe touching on some of Soul Zone imperfections, but I mean, they got stuff like their own teamwork and their progression down pat, and just like a lot of the story beats of Soul Eater. And I love as well how they tie as many of Maka's abilities and powers into the story as possible. Like, they transition into Black Blood using her encounter with Krona. They transition into the dress with them going to fight Asura, that kind of stuff. So I think that leaves like my one major criticism with the episode being Ruby's analysis, because we mentioned earlier like that it kind of ends on a weak note, but just personally, I also don't think it just really sells Ruby all that well. If I watched it without proper knowledge of Ruby as a character, I don't feel like I would get a great sense of what her story is about. But everything else is chef's kiss. Genuinely might be in my top 3 for the Kickstarter era.
Yeah.
Does anyone else want to go?
Sure. Oh, you want to go, Star?
You can go first. You can go first.
Sure.
I'm actually eating right now, so
That's fair.
Fair.
Let's see. First of all, this is a nitpick, right? I like when analysis feel. I'm a Def the Kid fan, so this is funny to say. Like, I like when the analysis feels symmetrical, right? I like when I like it most when analysis like paint the character arcs of the characters involved in a way that makes me go, oh, so that's why we're comparing them. That's what we're doing. Why we're doing this. And I think there was a lot of wasted potential here. Like, Maka goes all into her insecurities of her not being good enough as a Meister. And Ruby has the potential of tying into that with her Volume 9 arc, with her feeling like she isn't good enough as a Huntress, that she isn't living up to the fairy tale heroes that she desired to be. And then they gloss, like, it's not just, they gloss over her arc in Volume 9 that pisses me off. It's that and the fact that if they did, it would make for like a perfect pair of analysis to me. I think if they actually talked about that element of her story more in depth, it would be perfectly matching with Maka's own story in an interesting way. So that's pretty cool. And then that's my only real issue with the analysis. Ruby has a pretty solid one aside from those issues, and I have like no issues with Maka's analysis. I think it's like pretty much perfect to me. And then the fight is just stellar. Like, I'm not good at describing animation. I don't know all that, but like, it looks really fucking pretty. I like the piano segment a lot. I like the movement a lot. I think the usage of Ruby's abilities is so cool. It's just peak. It's just peak fiction. It's just absolute cinema.
All right. Cryo, do you want to go next?
Sure, yeah. Pretty much everything Chris said. I guess I can offer a more unique perspective though. For like this past like 2 weeks, everyone here knows, but just for people watching, I have been binging all of Ruby for the very first time, and I finished Volume 9 about like half an hour ago. So I was genuinely looking forward to seeing how they would tackle the arc that Ruby has in the analysis, and it was pretty disappointing to not see that, just see it glossed over, like, oh, she got over it, especially when it got built up in the analysis so much. Like, it was slowly building and building, and then Boomstick just hand waves it away. I don't like that, especially because the rest of the analysis is generally pretty strong. Um, but analysis wise, that's the only problem I have. And then the fight is kind of perfect. I think Maka's model looks a little bit off, which I don't even care that much. I think I don't know, maybe it might be the textures compared to Ruby's model, but again, I don't really care. And yeah, apart from that, I don't have any issues. Uh, it's all basically all perfect. It looks incredible. It sounds incredible. I'm a music guy. I'm a music guy. That fucking segment with Soul on the piano, where it all cuts back into the background music coming to the forefront when he starts playing. That was just tailor made for me to love it. I genuinely might be one of my new favorite moments in the entire show. I don't know. I'd have to rewatch it another time or two. Um, but yeah. And again, I think I said this before, but I love the way that I love that Maka got to actually like visibly kill Ruby. It didn't have to get like obscured or be like, oh, we can't show it because it would be too violent. Like what happened with Weiss in her episode. Um, but I like that they managed to do that in they managed to stylize it in a way that didn't feel violent, even though it technically was, and it still fits in with both series very well. Um, and also just the petals going outside the border at the end just really I don't know, that I just vibes with me a lot. And apart from that, yeah, that's kind of it.
And so I was very curious about your take on the Solidify part, considering, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
your background
yeah.
music. So
Yeah.
that's cool to hear.
A quick fun fact, just in case anyone doesn't know, whether here or watching, adagio in music, and just in general, means slowly or at ease. So if someone is playing adagio, they are playing. You have to play slowly, pretty much, or calmly.
Mm,
That's
Basically what that means.
That makes sense.
that's
Everyone,
It
really
explains
cool.
why the style of the. But I know. I thought it was kind of cute because like it gets so slow at a point that it kind of feels like really early Ruby in terms of animation. Like it feels the
yeah.
movements feel super sluggish, and I
It,
thought that
Mm.
was kind of cute.
and I like that it was like small notes too, because if it's adagio, it means that you're playing slowly and calmly, and that's like kind of the way the fight was being paced, and that's how Soul was playing. But then it like goes to the whole piano solo part, and then it just really kicks up. It really kicks up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that does
Um,
explain, like, in Soul Eater, like, because when Soul Adagio is used is against Giriko when they're so full of hatred that their soul literally bursts from anger. So Soul uses that to finish them off. So that is cool to learn, actually.
yeah.
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 It can be it can have something to do with like tempo and how like the BPM of the song itself, but it can just be a way to describe, okay, this is kind of the vibe you want to go in for playing it. Which is why it gets sometimes used for songs that are still fairly fast paced, in case you want like a more calmer moment that still keeps up the tempo. Like in the track.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um,
That's all I've really got.
Grant?
yeah.
I know you already gave
Uh,
some of your own thoughts, Story, but if you want to say anything else.
yeah. First off, subscribe to Cryo. He works really hard.
Thank you.
He makes good stuff. Uh,
Thank
second
you.
off, um, so if I were to mention a few of my own problems, it's actually with Maka's analysis, funnily enough, even though I do really think it's pretty much perfect for the most part. Maka doesn't actually get her own character tackled very much outside of her relationship with Soul. And we do get like a moment of Maka thinking she's holding Soul back, which is very true for her relationship with Soul. But Maka still has a lot of stuff on her own that kind of makes her stand out. And I kind of feel like the analysis could have maybe talked about that a little bit more, but I do at least like how they concluded. I do like how they try and concluded with how both her and Soul's arc and like finish. Like literally the last panel in their analysis was the last page of Soul Eater's manga, which I thought was awesome. And as for Ruby, it's basically the abridged thoughts that you guys all had, but I do kind of also wish they mentioned a little bit more like maybe this is a bit of me being biased towards like the old internet era of like fight scenes and stuff like that. I kind of wish they maybe talked a little bit more about you know like how Ruby is choreographed or stuff like that. Like I don't think it needs to be necessary. It's just something that I personally value a lot from Ruby, particularly old Ruby. That I don't really think its seasons afterwards really satisfied me in the same way with. And and yeah, I just really like that stuff. And for other stuff to mention, there's maybe Ruby's relationship with Weiss. Maybe they could have talked about a little bit more, and how Weiss and Oscar and other people like helped Ruby try and improve her state of mind and stuff like that. How she was able to stay mostly unchanged through all of like the seriously traumatic events of the fall of Beacon, having to split off from Weiss, Blake, and Yang like during season 4, stuff like that. But that would make her analysis really bloated, when it would have in general just been very much improved just off of just adding like a bit more of what she goes through in season 9, I think, right?
Volume 9, yeah.
Yeah. And it would have bloated it, but I do think it's still very important parts of Ruby's character. But it would be kind of just nitpicking at that point, so I don't really want to fault the episode on that. And as for the fight, I kind of just mentioned everything I had to with it. What I did at least want to try and bring up is I love that the final shot has both of their moons in it. A very good way to represent both of them.
Yeah, although that does, I will say, that does beg the question, how does this world work if it has just 2 moons just over there?
It's the fucking Soul Eater universe, dude. Their moon doesn't even exist in the atmosphere.
The Soul Eater moon is the normal moon, which was gravitated back down to like being in the normal sky. It's
it just exists in the fucking atmosphere. It's not even in space anymore. That's why like during the Venom versus Corona wait period, people were like so fucking up in arms about how do you do Soul Eater feats with its moon, because so much of like its big feats happen on its moon.
My glorious king Shinra Kusakabe.
Yeah, but then fucking Fire Force happened, and now Maka is like undeniably probably just okay, maybe not undeniably, but you can make a very good arguments that hey, Maka at her best is stronger than Shinra because she killed Ashura.
Thanks, Fire Force.
Yeah, thank you, Fire Force. Okubo, you're a fucking crack. Okubo's a fucking crackhead. But
yeah, I thought you were gonna say Okubo's a fucking cracker.
I literally can't say that, bro. He's Asian.
Yeah,
I know.
Why
it's just a SpongeBob Sparefish gif.
Dude, if I'm going to save that for like a Japanese person, it'd be fucking Sonic's voice actor. This is for those who know, by the way. I'm looking at you, Gumball. I'm looking at you, Gumball, if you're watching this.
Hi, Gumball.
Hi, Gumball.
Hi, Gumball.
All right.
But yeah, I think that's about it. If we want to like have maybe a thing that we all can say before we leave, if that's okay with you.
I definitely have one thing to say. Yeah. What the fuck is that our next time?
Oh my god!
Let's go, Blade! Let's go, Blade!
I
Blade,
finally
please,
have an
Clutch.
excuse to. I finally have an excuse to read Blade's comics.
Changing my
Also,
profile picture to Blade as we speak.
Dude,
I don't
if
have
it
any.
wasn't if it wasn't for this
Sorry.
episode, that would be 3 Marvel versus non-DC episodes in a row.
I'm tired, boss.
I'm tired, boss.
I
But
don't
not
have-
really, because that's Blade, baby. Woo!
I don't have any investment in the matchup or characters, but like, how can I not be excited for that? Come on.
Blade,
Blade.
please, Clutch.
It's
Anyway,
true.
yeah, we've been babbling on a while. I think that's a good note to end it on. So, thank you all for joining me for this.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Thank you
This
for
is
having
great.
us.
This is
My
great.
first,
Thank
my
you.
first death battle reaction. I'm so happy to be here.
Congrats on making it into a video that wasn't Among Us.
Yeah, that wasn't fucking Among Us.
All right. Well,
Also, I do want to say thank you, Monty. Thank you, Monty.
Thank you, Monty.
thank you,
Thank
Monty.
you, Monty. Yeah, I love your series, and I'm so happy that your series is still ongoing and that it didn't die in the dirt like how Death Battle almost did.
And that it got into Blaze Blue Cross tag somehow.
And Matt
Indeed.
Superman.
That's super.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Until next time.
Until
next
next time.
time.
Read Land of the Lustrous. Read Land of the Lustrous.
Read my ghost eyes. Read my ghost.
That was fun.
All right.
Reed yells
Yeah,
at Kurt
that was
family to
fun.
make Chris happy, just since he didn't say anything.
True.
Anyway,
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't
Yeah,
feel
do
like
that,
it,
do
but
that.
please do.
Yes, please.
Also, get Krona versus Ryuko popular. Let's do it for Loka.
True.
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 All right. Until next time. Peace.